Hi Virgo, this is Mimi with Divination by Mimi. Welcome to your December 2017 tarot reading with a little bit of astrology and oracle if necessary. So you are a mutable sign and an earth sign ruled by Mercury. And you are an analyzer, a thinker, and a researcher. So you're the one that people go to when they need to figure out how to put the stereo together, that kind of thing, or how to make the computer work. Technology is just an example that I'm giving, but you're the problem solver, the analytical, thoughtful, rational one. Very serious sign, but also forgiving and loving sign, and definitely about doing the right thing. You rule the sixth house. Yes, you rule the sixth house, which is about health and the body and intellectual pursuits, academic pursuits. So again, very, very thoughtful and very kind. Altruistic. Usually, I have never met a Virgo that wasn't honest, but I got some feedback last month that they have never met an honest Virgo. So it's all perspective, I suppose. This particular month, you're going to have some difficulty at the beginning of the month. So I'll go over some astrological aspects before we get into the reading. First, on the 1st of December, there is a opposition, direct opposition between Mars, the planet, or the god of war planet that rules Aries, and Uranus, the quick changing, intellectual, kind of like Mercury, your ruler, and innovative and revolutionary leader or ruler of Aquarius, which is about the collective. So this opposition is an intensification of the sign of the other and an impact of the sign of the other. So it's finding the similarity between the two. For example, finding the same aspects of Aries in Aquarius. That makes sense. So this could manifest itself in a couple of ways. One way is arguments. So in the beginning of the month, try not to get into too many altercations online, so social media. There's another aspect with your ruling planet Mercury going retrograde that will impact that as well, particularly for you and Geminis. But try not to get into the arguments with that. And here's why. So the very nature of the planet Mars, the ruler of Aries, the ruler of the first house, is the assertion of I am, the will of the individual. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, who is the ruler of the 11th house. And Aquarius is about the collective. It's about change. It's about evolution. So in a rough situation, this could be arguments about the assertion of the will of the individual versus the assertion of the will of the collective. In other words, the me first of the first house versus the, well, me too, but how does it help everyone else of the 11th house? In other words, the me first aspect, or the assertion of the I am of Aries, and the collective, make sure everybody's taken care of Aquarius. That's where arguments could ensue, because they're both important. Okay. Where it could be harmonious and helpful is the fiery and energetic nature of Mars, again, ruler of Aries, feeds the innovative, fast-moving, unpredictable, progressive energy of Uranus. So that could manifest itself in new inventions, technological explosions, discoveries of cures for things. In fact, just recently, I saw something called PrEP, which is apparently something that you take in advance if you feel like you might have unprotected sex that can possibly create a barrier. Again, if anybody knows about the medical aspects of this and I'm fucking it up, I apologize. But it seems to have an impact on the likelihood of contracting the HIV virus. That kind of thing. Advancement, movement. Uranus doesn't like things to stay the same and to stay stagnant. It likes to shake energy up and change it and move it for the best, for the improvement of everyone. Okay, so that's technological advancement and things like that. So that's one aspect that we could see. Lots of inventions, lots of technological progress and movement, or arguments. So social media, especially for you and Gemini, stay away from. Okay, so you're ruled by Mercury. Mercury goes retrograde on the day of the full moon, which is the 3rd, Sunday. And this is a full supermoon in Gemini. On this same day, your ruling planet Mercury goes retrograde. And right around the same day, the day before and the 3rd, it forms a square with Saturn. So Mercury retrograde, the common thing everybody knows is communication gets messed up, particularly on the internet. Technology messes up. Information's not clear or is missing. So they always say, oh, don't sign a contract, don't buy a car, that kind of thing in that time frame. But you couple this with, because you can get around that. In other words, analytical signs like Gemini and Virgo, if anybody's going to be able to still push through a retrograde, it's you guys. Well, this aspect of Mercury squaring Saturn is restriction on top of that. So where you would normally get around a problem by researching it or seeking out more information, you're going to hit a brick wall. I can't exactly explain how it will manifest itself, but that's the energy. Restriction, restriction, restriction. So considering that, this is why I'm kind of suggesting you don't get involved in altercations on social media. In fact, maybe stay away from it. Be prepared for, you might feel like the restriction and the inability to rationalize and solve problems and analyze it, and the inability to see a way around it is something that might make you a little bit depressed, but it's not going to last forever. The retrograde goes back and forth, so you might feel it through maybe the 18th, which is when the new moon happens. Your ruling planet should have been finished with its back and forth around Saturn, because it does go conjunct with Saturn. So your first part of your month might be a little bit rough, you and Gemini. Just try to ride it out. It will get better. One thing, since you're analytical, I said the same thing to Gemini, your tendency is to be totally left brain, right? Empirical data, Venn diagrams, scientific method, you know. Your tendency for that is not going to serve you right now, because nothing's going to work out regardless. But there is one aspect that's very dreamy and wonderful. Now I know, oh, dreamy, that doesn't make sense. What the hell is that? That's fairy tale shit. But the right brain does exist, as does the left. So it has a purpose, okay? And you remember when you were a kid, you were dreamy. You dream about things like, I want a unicorn, that kind of thing. So there's an aspect being created on the 3rd as well. It's been in the works since I think a little earlier in November, and then Neptune went direct on the 22nd of November. But this aspect, this harmonious trine between Jupiter and Neptune occurs at 11 degrees of each respective constellation, and I'll go into that in a second. And it occurs on that same Sunday, the 3rd. And this means miracles can happen. So if you are a magical person, if you're able to suspend disbelief for long enough to be a magical person, this is the time to set intentions. This is the time to do your magic, because miracles really can happen. With this very harmonious trine, you've got the dreamy, borderless, anything's possible energy of Neptune direct in its home sign of Pisces, right? The 12th house, that's the dreaminess of there is no you, there is no me. You know, there's no boundaries. The veil is disappearing between the worlds. It's all one, right? That's the magical stuff. And then it makes this harmonious trine with Jupiter in Scorpio, right? That's an expansive energy. So there's dreaminess expanded. So it's very positive. Even if you don't practice magic or you don't want to set intentions and use the energy that way, use it for creativity in anything. If you're not a painter or a composer or a writer, or a sculptor, or any of those tactile or thoughtful, considered normally creative endeavors, you know, this is a great time to write code. It's a great time for manifestation in whatever regard. It's creation, creativity, big on the 3rd. So full moon on the 3rd, full moon, supermoon in Gemini, with the other aspects I mentioned. New moon on the 18th in the opposite mutable sign of Sagittarius. And that is, you know, the interesting thing is there's at 11 degrees on a lot of these, not the last one I mentioned, but the 11 degree, and this will be interesting for you because you are about service. 11 is the master number of service. And a lot of these aspects on the 3rd, I'm sorry, I'm going back, but back on the 3rd, So a lot of these aspects are occurring at the 11 degree mark. So the full supermoon in Gemini, third house, is happening at 11 degrees, which means the opposite sign, the opposite mutable sign, 180 degrees, right, makes a full moon. That means the sun is in Sagittarius at 11 degrees. Then that trine I mentioned between Neptune and Jupiter is at 11 degrees. And then the 11 degrees alternate opposition of Mars and Uranus is also 11 degrees. So even if the intention for manifestation or creativity is not something you would normally think is in service of others, the energy will lend itself to help others. And I know that you tend to be an altruistic sign, so you should like that. So if you're going to go out on a limb and be dreamy, just know it'll be for a good thing. It'll be good for you, and it'll be good for others in a roundabout way you can't quantify. All right, the last thing, and I swear I'll shut up about this, is Saturn goes home to Capricorn on the 21st, the winter solstice. So so Saturn has been in the 9th house, the world of Sagittarius, for a very long time. The 9th house is about travel, education, expansion or restriction of borders when it comes to Saturn. Remember, it's restriction. So it's about travel, it's about other cultures, it's about education. And when Saturn, restrictive energy, is brought to that house, it basically affects those things. So that's where we're talking about the fear of the immigrant. This has been in the era of the fear of the immigrant, right? Last few years. So we saw it with Brexit. We saw it with that fascist party almost getting elected in France, and then the fascist party completely taking over Greece and other places in the world. This anti-immigrant status. That's Saturn's restrictive energy in the land of borders, the 9th house. Well, now, and this is why I think it's a positive move, and there's differing opinions on this, but my think is that it's a positive move. Saturn's going to be moving into the 10th house from having been in this 9th house for a long time. It brings its restrictive nature to Capricorns, of course. So it's the ruler of Capricorns, and it's right at home. The restrictive energy of Capricorn does nothing more than to serve to make a Capricorn better. It hones them. So it's a very empowering thing to come home to your Capricorn friends. For the rest of us, I'm a Capricorn, but for the rest of us, I think this is going to manifest itself in a anti-neoliberalist way. Here comes my political soapbox, but it's relevant, I promise. Regardless of your political leanings, you can't deny that the free market has made it free game on, free range, whatever, on governments, buying governments. So whether it is, the free market in India buying the local magistrate so that it helps them, or the free market in the United States. I'll give you an example. Say the former CEO of Eli Lilly, a pharmaceutical company, via a lobby has given so much money to a legislative branch or a legislative body like a congressperson. They've bought enough favors with that lawmaker that they now can be placed at the head of a regulatory agency like the Food and Drug Administration. Now, and I'm going to use our country. These regulatory agencies are there to protect citizens and consumers. Again, regardless of your political leanings, everybody wants to be protected, from poisoning and things like that. If the drug makes you grow a baby's arm out of your temple, you might not like that, and you might want some regulation on that. I think the restrictive energy of Saturn coming into the 10th house, again, it's Capricorn's house, but it's also about not only your image in the world or your reputation in the world, but it's about government, business, courts, churches, but institutions that have held power. Okay, and that right now with the environment I was just expressing or explaining about is business. Business has free range on everything, including these regulatory agencies. So I think this restrictive energy of Saturn coming to the 10th house is going to force some legislative oversight on, maybe we're looking at campaign finance reform. That'd be great. We might be looking at new types of voting, like tiered voting. You might be looking at the pushing of a third party so as to make the voting process, this is the United States I'm talking about, so as to make the voting process fair, more inclusive, and less owned. And most importantly, as I was talking earlier about the baby's arm growing out of the temple of your head due to a drug, it actually brings some muscle back to these regulatory agencies whose intention is meant to be to protect us, the consumer and the citizen, from the free market, which is never free. It's just always about making the most profit for the board. I'm sorry, I went on a long rant. So I believe it's a good thing, Saturn returning to the 10th house. I went on a long diatribe yet again on yours, so I apologize, Virgo. Let's get into your reading. That is all. Did I mention the new moon? The new moon's in Sagittarius on the 18th. I think that's all of the big astrological events, and then we move into next year. So I am going to go on with the reading. I'm using the Thoth or the Tahuti deck. This is the deck that was created by Lady Frida Harris. She painted it and conceptualized it with the assistance of Aleister Crowley. So there's a lot of symbolism, psychological, you know, like Jungian symbolism. There is Hermetic and Kemetic symbolism. There is archetypal symbolism, Hindu symbolism, Vedic symbolism, and then of course the European or the Western magical traditions symbolism is in here as well. So it's a wonderful deck. I just went on and on about that. We're going to do a 3-card pull, and this is based on the supernal triangle or the top 3 placements of your respective tree of life. So if you follow a tree of life, this would be, for a Kabbalistic tree of life, this would be Keter, Chokmah, and Binah. For a Kemetic tree of life, this would be Aminasur, Tahuti, and Sekert, that supernal triangle. If you followed Jungian theory, which as a Virgo, you probably would do that more likely, this would be superconscious, conscious, and subconscious. And since I have gone on, and I'm going to get on with your reading stuff. This is for Virgo, mutable earth sign, ruler of the 6th house, for December 2017. What's going on with Virgo? December 2017. One more time for Virgo, December 2017. Holy Hecate, cosmic soul, creatrix of the universe, Titaness. What does mutable Virgo, earth sign, need to know for December 2017? Mutable Virgo, thank you. Superconscious. Oh, there's subconscious. Unconscious. You got the World in reverse by Superconscious, and in the conscious mind, you got the Gemini card. Didn't this happen last month? The Gemini card, or the Lovers, Major Arcana. So 2 Major Arcana so far. This is some kind of karmic lesson for you. Conscious mind, completion. Did we talk about this last month? Are you being... Okay, so, no, this is different, actually. I think last month you were dealing with some infidelity. This month, I don't think so. I think, okay, so the World, the last card of the Major Arcana, is the completion of a lesson or a cycle. And I'm going to get clarification on the completion card here, or the World. This is definitely about a coupling or a marriage, but about a message that you're not moving on, or you're not, there's something about this, you're not moving on to the next level, or your next level of growth, and it relates to this. Oh, okay. We all have a path in life, even though we have partners that we have committed to, marriage, what have you. But we each individually have something to fulfill. And this is very karmic for you. So I really feel strongly, I don't think it needs clarification, actually. I think we're looking at okay, yeah, we're definitely looking at a situation here. you need to be learning something or moving on to something, and you're not. And I think you're using the, sorry, I sound like I'm preaching. I don't mean to. I think you're either using the excuse or hiding behind a very solid relationship that you're in. So you're in a marriage or a committed relationship that, and it feels like a hetero relationship. And it feels like I'm talking to a guy. Okay? There's something you need to fulfill in this life, whether it is a career opportunity or, yeah, it feels like a career opportunity. There's something you need to fulfill, and you are blessed with a loving partner. This is the completion card. It's the 4 card. It's the number 4, which is it's stable. It's stability. Tables are made of 4. They're sturdy, right? 4 things. They're all the levels of adepthood. The wands in here, they're 4 wands. It's a fire energy. Astrologically, this is Mars in Venus or Venus in Mars. This is the combination of the 2. And the green in the background is indicative of the Sephira Netzach, ruled by Venus. Mars and Venus are mythological lovers, but ultimately they're the archetypal male and female. You have a wonderful relationship. Yes, you do. It's solid. It's stable. It's dependable. And it really feels like I'm talking to a guy here, okay? And a hetero guy at that. She is very supportive of you, of whatever you do. But you are not doing what you need to do at an individual level for your soul's purpose or your soul's journey. You're using this solid relationship to hide behind or as an excuse to not take this next step of progression, take this next move that you have to take. This is karma. This is a major arcana card, and this is a major arcana card. What that tells me, especially with the completion card, this relationship is part of your karmic destiny. It will be there, okay? It will withstand whatever upheaval this move or action you need to take will bring it. It will withstand it. It is solid force. You have a very good relationship. In this incarnation, you've been gifted with an intimate twin flame type of relationship that does not excuse you from your life's journey, nor hers. Sorry. So don't use the relationship as an excuse to not pursue your life's purpose. I'll throw out an example. I don't know if this is relevant, but I'll throw this out there. Okay. Let's say that it's always been in the back of your mind. In other words, Spirit has always been telling you that you should be a missionary. I don't believe in missionaries, so I don't know why I'm using this. So maybe this is someone specific, but that the work of God, that the work of your divine soul in this incarnation is to spread the word of whoever, God, Jesus, what have you. So it's missionary work that you're destined to do, but it involves you going overseas to preach the good word. You're using, in other words, it could mean you're going to places they don't have running water, and you could catch cholera or what have you. In other words, an upheaval of your life. And you've been hiding behind the relationship to say, I don't want to leave the family behind. I don't want to leave my partner behind. But you're destined to do this. It's your karmic cycle to do this. So what I'm saying to you is, if that is what you're doing, hiding behind it or using it as an excuse to not take that step, don't. Because God sees, or Spirit sees, or Jesus sees, whatever you want to call it, sees, and it knows. This is a solid relationship. It's built on good foundations. You both are good to each other. It's a twin flame. Whatever this thing is, whether it's mission or something else, being a priest or doing a nonprofit startup, that'd be cool. And it may involve travel or something like that. It will not, I'm just reconfirming here, it will not do anything to this very solid relationship you're in. Whether it's a full family or just a coupling, either way, it is solid. That is a karmic relationship you're in. It's not going anywhere. So you've got to do your duty here. Yeah, you've got to do your duty in this incarnation. You have a destiny to fulfill. God, I'm so sorry. It's preachy and it's long, but it really felt strong for someone. It really felt like you're a mission or something. You want to be a mission or a priest or start a nonprofit. It seems very Well, you're Virgo. It's very altruistic. Whatever it is, it's to help people. But whatever you do, don't start it in December because you got some crazy Mercury stuff happening. All right, I'm going to shut up. That's all that she wrote on this. If you'd like a personal reading, feel free to leave it in, to email me at mememes@hotmail.com. That email address is in the description box below the video. If you'd like have any questions or would like to leave a comment, do it in the comment section below. Feel free to subscribe and like and share if you think if it doesn't resonate with you, but it might help someone else, share it. Pay it forward, it will help. I think that's it. Yeah, that's totally it. I just seem to want to go on. Good luck with whatever this is. But it's important. You got to do it. All right, Virgo, you take care. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Whatever, however you roll for December, enjoy it. And just ride out that Mercury activity. Take care. Bye.